We are back. That's right. We are back to the Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus podcast show. I am Dr. B. Welcome back. Yes, we are back. This is show number 43. Show number 43. And it's entitled President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. What's going to happen? That's right. That's right. This is show number 43. President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. What's going to happen? We are officially back after the major election, national election, and we do have a new president-elect, Joe Biden, and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. It is November 19th, and it's been at least 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks now? Just about 2 weeks now after the election. And wow, things are moving rapidly forward. We had, I'm going to talk about the acceptance speech. And again, yes, things are still a little bit in a flux as we start to change into perhaps a new yes, indeed, a new administration. Yeah, we still have Donald Trump, asking for a recount on lots of votes. So, but I'm not going to go down that road. But this is about President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. What's going to happen? Before I get started, I want to thank all my sponsors, now as many sponsors as possible. I want to thank Podbean for showcasing us, our podcast shows on their platform. Podbean, thank you, Podbean. I want to thank iTunes, Apple Podcasts, of course, Apple Podcasts. I want to get the podcast, by the way. Download the podcast. Google Play, Intune, Listen FM, iHeartRadio, and of course our major new sponsor, Amazon Prime. That's right, Amazon Prime. It's on Audible. We are featured on Amazon Prime. So yes, join Amazon Prime, and you can listen to our podcast shows continuously on Amazon Prime, free of charge. That's right. After you join Amazon Prime, but you listen to all our episodes. And again, I just want to thank the assistance and acceptance of Amazon Prime to featuring our podcast show, because we're real. We said it real on this show, on all our shows. We cut through the chase, and of course, this show is based upon my 2018 book, Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus. Understanding Empowerment and Solutions for College Students. It's geared to college students, my college crowd. And they want to know a lot of the issues. And I have to cut through the chase when I'm lecturing to my college students. And the issues of race tends to get neglected in a lot of the major issues. Yet I'm telling you, it's very critical. Now that we have a new administration coming in, where will race and ethnic relations be in the on the radar? And oh my gosh, you know I'm gonna do this. So I'm just setting this up right now. So again, I want to make sure I take care of my sponsors, and we're moving forward on all those platforms. And again, truly appreciate Amazon Prime for showcasing us. Now, our big talking points, talking issues in this show, which has already been neglected. Yes, I examined the acceptance speeches of both President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. Oh man. It came on a Saturday, and we had to wait several days, of course, and then officially it came out on the weekend, and things were building up, and then it was like I was watching a college football game, and then the news broke that The election has been determined, and there will be an acceptance speech of Biden and Harris at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. And and all the news organizations set themselves up to showcase President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And wow, it was a major event. It was an exciting event. People around the country, around the U.S., started to hold watch parties. Was looking at the acceptance. Actually, started celebrating in cities across the United States, in Washington D.C., Philadelphia, Detroit, New York City, all across major cities, and then when the event happened later that evening, it was very fascinating to hear and see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris together on stage with their families, and it was an event. Let me just say that it was an event. And again, breaking down the speech, of course, for those of you who did not see it, and I'm not going to go all into the detail, but Kamala Harris came out first, and then Joe Biden obviously came out second. And I'm going to have a special show, obviously, on Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. and then President-elect Joe Biden came out. And Kamala, by the way, Kamala came out with this nice white suit. And she's worn it, as I understand now, she's wore it several times before, but it was really spruced up. It was really shiny. She had everything going on, had the good look going on, and she came out with lots of enthusiasm. The crowd was super excited. Of course, they were showing all the diversity in the crowd, particularly women of color, and that was a great feeling, great event. And listening to her speech, she really brought a lot of the issues to the forefront. She supporting Joe on all of his measures. Also brought her more of her background, her history, her mother into the equation, identifying herself as Southeast Asian and also African American. I did a deep dive in that already. But I'm glad she started to bring up more of the ethnicity. That's what I'm getting to. More of the ethnicity to the larger stage, the larger forum of when you're a representative, a leader of our country. It's okay to bring up race and ethnicity. Now, before then, again, I'm going to tell you, I was critical of that during the speeches. She did not bring up her race and ethnicity to a larger level. And on this acceptance speech, she finally brought a bit more of it up. And that was good to hear. I'll just say good to hear. And then great speech on a lot of levels, touched all the key constituent groups that voted for them, and yeah, and it made us all feel good that we're a part of this new election, new team, and again, she just wanted to make sure she was totally supportive of Joe Biden. And then so I appreciated her candor and her style, her finesse, I don't want to say showmanship, but her class and her professionalism. And then Joe Biden came out actually running on stage, running to show his youthfulness, and he had I would say his best speech since I've seen him on a political campaign. So again, I would say that was probably Joe Biden's best speech. He hit all his marks, his history, talking about Scranton, where he's from. And he also acknowledged he wouldn't be there without the major support of the African American community. He made a point about that. He said that right up front. He did not gloss. He did not mention any other major constituent or racial and ethnic group. He mentioned the African American community. So Joe Biden went there. That was good to hear. Put it that way. So he did mention that, and again, I thought that was his best speech. He hit all his marks. And then he hit all his other constituents, and he mentioned education is important because his wife is a professor, and so that gives you indication where perhaps what they're going to do. And so he started laying out his very tentative plan, which was again very good. And so I would say their acceptance speech that night, Saturday, they hit many of their marks. I would say it was a feel-good speech, feel-good speeches, and it did make a lot of folks who were voting, and they were actually, Joe said, I'm going to have to reach across the aisle because there was over 70 million folks who voted for Trump, and so if anything's going to get done, you still have to reach across the aisle, and Joe knows that. Hello, Joe knows that. So he mentioned that. But let me just, and so it was a feel good. Let me just say feel good speeches. And only thing, then right after that, I always I write down those key points, the key issues. I've already got my notes in a secure document already. I got my specific notes in a secure document already on all the key points. But from those, one of the things that I always do, particularly with politicians, is, okay, feel good speeches. What are the tangible steps for real action? Start spelling out the tangible steps for real action immediately. That is so critical. Because people, the general public, loves to feel good. We want to feel good. Of course we want to feel good. Yet, when you listen to politicians again and again, as many of you have, as well as I'm always saying, okay, what are the real action steps? Okay? In reaching groups that have not been a part of the power structure. Hello, groups that have not been a part of the power structure. The underrepresented, underprivileged, communities of color. What are the action steps? So it was a feel-good speech. I'm going to wait. It's just a acceptance speech, and in the weeks to come, I'm looking for the real action steps. And I've already known that Joe Biden's team had planned his new cabinet even before the election finished. They were planning their new cabinet, so they felt that they were going to strongly win. And from my sources that the individual in charge of selecting the new cabinet, let me just say this, from my sources, actually Bernie Sanders. and Bernie Sanders actually held meetings to select the cabinet for Joe Biden. So in essence, some would say that Bernie Sanders he really is already a puppet master. A puppet master. That is, what do I mean by puppet master? He's picking and choosing various high professionals, congresswomen, congressmen, political position leaders, and handpicking these individuals, yet being the uh, decision maker. So what is coming out already, which is kind of leaked out even before the election, and now after, it's been really leaking out that Bernie Sanders is this puppet master. He's making major decisions for the Democrats behind closed doors and setting up the agenda for Joe Biden's presidency. In essence, he's the puppet master. He's making the decision. He's the real person behind the power. And he's going to pick certain minority leaders that represent certain constituents. He's African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, LGBTQ communities. He's picking and selecting which ones. So the cabinet can look visibly diverse. Visibly diverse. And let me just say this. Okay, now I'm going to say here I'm giving you more my here's my opinion. Visibly diverse. Yet, this is what happens a lot of times. I'm just going to say this. This is what happens when we get a change of administration. Visibly diverse. Yet these visibly diverse, hand-picked individuals in high-ranking positions have little to no power. Have little to no power. You see this in certain administrations, unfortunately, where visibly it looks good. The various persons of color, diverse, various special groups, looks good on paper, looks good visibly on the TV, looks visibly on the nightly news, looks great visibly on the talk shows, yet they don't have any real power. Are we going to see that during the next 4 years? I'm posing the question to you right now. Please respond. Are we going to see a very ethnically diverse, racially diverse cabinet with no real power? And I mean by no real power to really implement a lot of the strategies that the Biden administration has already talked about. Because as I said at the beginning, we have, I did say we. Uh-oh, I tipped my hand on that. Have to stretch across the aisle to Republicans to find agreement, because that's how bills and things and plans get moved forward. Finding a common ground. Hello. So, my question, I feel good. Feel good speeches. The cabinet will look visibly diverse. Yet with my contention is yet with no power. We will feel the country will feel good for the first 2 years. Feel good. It looks good. It looks great. The first of this, the first of that. Kamala Harris, the first African American Southeast Asian vice president. I feel good. And then the various cabinet members will be the first in this and first in that. Oh, I feel good. Oh, the country feels warm and fuzzy. It's like comfort food. Oh, yes, I say it's like comfort food. You know how during the holidays everyone loves their comfort food? Even when things are going crazy, people still like their comfort food. Are we going to feel we want our comfort food that is diversity for the next 4 years? We feel good. It looks good. We feel good. Yet this diversity, will they have any power, decision making authority to truly change things that will improve race and ethnic relations for everybody. For everybody. Because again, I'm sure. I guess I'm showing my age. Because I'm tired of the feel good time period. I'm tired of the feel good time period. Okay. It's about action. It's about real power. It's about following through on campaign promises and really getting people to come together, not being more divisive after another administration comes. Are we going to become more divisive? Okay. It's a two-way street. Are we going to become more divisive during the next 4 years? There's strategies to reduce that, to improve race, and that's what I'm doing, why I'm doing these shows, to improve race relations, not to be more divisive, not to pit group against another group or political group against another political group. That's not the purpose of this show. That's not the purpose of anything of this. I'm bringing in politics because it does bring discussion to my classroom. And I try to bring my students together on these issues. Yeah, many times they get locked into how politics is played out on TV, in the social media. It's divisive. Yet one party or another has to try to bring folks together and improve political maneuvering, political initiatives, and race and ethnic relations. Now, here's another caveat. Let me just say, politically wise, what I learned when I lived in Washington, D.C., and when I learned by working for the federal government for 5 years. One thing I learned, it's great for good speeches, but look at the telltale sign is look at the budget. When the President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, after their inauguration and then they get their budget together, look at the budget in detail. Where will the money go? The budget is a reflection and the action of not just the president, but about the party too. So where are the major priorities going to be? This is a tease. This is a tease to the next show. Where are the major federal funds? We're talking about millions of dollars. Where are they going to be targeted? We're targeting a lot of issues. Money will be targeted to COVID responses, vaccines, high priority. That's what Joe Biden mentioned. He also mentioned various programs being started. I will be curious as to what monies will go to education, race and ethnic relations related programs. Because we have a major social injustice, racial injustice society. We've already talked about it in major details. But look at the budget. And then and the budget is supposed to be ready by February or something like that. And push forward February or March. So again, I'm going to talk about that too, by the way. So again, it's about action. It's about putting it on paper, and the budget for every president and vice president is a telltale sign of where we're going to go in the next 3 to 4 years. So there you go. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling warm and fuzzy, like most Americans, but that wears off. I'm all about action, and I'm all about improving race and ethnic relations, and I hope you are about improving race and ethnic relations. It's time for action. Enough of the comfort food. Enough of the warm and fuzzy. It's about getting folks together. It's about if you're going to move an initiative that's going to bring millions of dollars to improve the health, the education, the social programs, the mental programs, the equity for all various groups. Show it in the budget. Hello, show it in the budget. And so that's what I'm going to be focusing upon. So there you go. This is the show number 43. President-elect Biden, Vice President-elect Harris. What's going to happen? That's the tag. What's going to happen? Right now, it's a feel good. And again, like I said, I'm all about action. Man, I'm ready to go. And of course, I just have all my next shows right in line, but I got to slow down. I waited for 2 weeks to have this show. I didn't want to have a show immediately after the acceptance speech. I waited and waited and waited. So again, it's about seeing how the country responds, how the candidates respond, and what is really being played out, not in the national media, but really what's happening in the individual camps, the particular parties, how they're responding, and how they're responding to the new pressure, the new perspective of the country, and the predicaments of the country right now. Now there's 1 week before Thanksgiving. So again, there's a lot to untangle, but we're going to do a deeper dive into a lot of issues. So hopefully you stay tuned. Please email me. Please email the show at ejb678@gmail.com. That's ejb678@gmail.com. Please like us on any of the platforms. Please subscribe to us on all the platforms, and the platforms such as iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Into, Listen FM, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, and of course Amazon Prime. That's right, Amazon Prime. And again, thank you for your time. Again, we just moving on to the next level of fun with our podcast show. So thank you again. Have a great holiday season. This is Dr. B. Peace out, folks. We out.